This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome everyone to the quarterly meeting of the Darien TV79 Advisory Committee. Since it does not appear to be any public on the line, we don't need, there is no public comment. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of 7/14/2020?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Carrie seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Unanimous, Dennis. I'd also like to make a motion to amend the agenda to move to a discussion of the creation of DarienTV79.com. We have Cecil Wade who's joining us, and that way he doesn't have to stick around. He had to stick around last week when the RTN meeting where I got my passwords screwed up, but fortunately he was there to back me up. So I don't want to.
Also pretending to be Linda.
Yeah, oh, hey, to be Linda. So can I have a motion to amend the agenda to move item 4, discussion of the creation of DarienTV79.com, to the next item? Jim moves. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We've talked about the advantages of having our own website, because you have to go deep into the town to find things, and there are certain advantages that we can do with the Castus system. And so this is where Cecil, Jim, and Sean, I'll lay out the 30,000 foot view, and then you guys can help fill in. But what the original idea was for DarienTV79.com would be is one place so that the live feed was there 24/7, which Castus gives us that ability to do. YouTube only allows 8 hours of live broadcast. 2, it would allow us to then have all of the on-demand programming in clearly labeled playlists in one place. 3, we think with Castus we can dynamically update the program schedule. As Jim will tell you in the programming update, we've gone from 6 programs a week that we bicycled around to a really robust list of programming that's more like a town website than a government access website, except during prime time. 3, it would be a place where with the programming schedule dynamic, there's other technology that would allow residents to opt in to get alerted each morning to a meeting or commission or committee that they were interested in, so that if it was the morning of the Board of Finance meeting, they'd get an alert saying there's a Board of Finance meeting tonight at 7:30 that will be broadcast live on TV79. Carrie, we talked a little bit at the last meeting about what are some of the outreach that we can do to build an audience. So what did I leave out? Cecil or Jim or Sean?
It sounded pretty complete to me.
Sounded complete to me too.
The costs. What concerns me is the costs of what are the annual maintenance costs, because we do have to set up a website, and then all those streaming costs. God, I remember 25 years ago when I started the first desktop video, what it cost. But what do you believe, Cecil, the ongoing costs would be of hosting and maintenance of the site?
Well, hosting is principally a question of how fast do you want the site to be? You can get hosting for as little as $3 a month, but after a year, usually those things go up by about 3 to 4 times. A reasonably fast web host, though, should cost more in the neighborhood, I would say $20 to $25 a month. You can go way higher than that, but I think unless we see volumes that are way beyond what I would expect them, that would be the range for hosting. You're going to have the cost of a domain, but that's a trivial cost.
That's $12 a month.
That's
I mean, a year rather.
Yeah, more like a year.
That's $12 a year.
There are plugins or pieces of software that you might well be using that would have some kind of annual fee. I think, you know, probably all in that would be under $200 no matter what you did per year. So.
Hey, Mike,
Sean,
I just wanted to offer up. I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but the group can decide. I host the Darien Foundation website, which is a WordPress site on DigitalOcean. So I have a Dropbox or a droplet set up, a container set up to do that. So I didn't know if I don't know if it's appropriate for me to be hosting it or what, but that's an option.
Yeah, that would be fine. I actually have developed a prototype, principally of the on-demand. I don't know if we can share screen here or not, Mike.
Yes, we can. And
I mean,
let me. No, on Zoom you can, but I don't
Not
see
here.
where. Anybody know where the sharing is of the?
It's grayed out for me. It's down at the bottom next to the camera icon. Is yours, as the organizer, Mike, is yours enabled? Mine is disabled.
The green dot's right down at the bottom.
Are you on a PC or a Mac?
I'm on a Mac.
It says screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I see screen, but and can I get? I know how to share my screen. I just don't know how to give.
Well, if you
people
click
the
on that, does it give you the option for somebody else to share?
So, Mike, up at the top, the participants, the icon people, if you click on there and then right-click Cecil and make him the presenter.
Oh, Sean,
right.
You're good. Actually, you right-click on Linda.
Linda, I meant.
Yeah, right. Connected audio, mute, make presenter. There I go. I make presenter. There.
Okay.
Right. So now you're all set. Thank you, Sean.
So thank you, Sean. That was brilliant. I'm going to try to share this. Can you guys see this screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so this is a prototype screen. It's very simple in design because my feeling about it was the more complicated the screen, the more complicated it is to use. But briefly, what it does is it comes up when you go to the home page with recent programs. The most recent one being in the center, but reasonably recent others being strung across the bottom. So if somebody's looking for something that's happened really recently, this is a pretty quick way to get to it, and you navigate it. This is also very easy to maintain because this the way this has been designed is none of the video has been moved to this hosting platform. All of it is taken on the fly from Vimeo, and it's displayed from Vimeo. It's selected from Vimeo. This is just a front page to allow you to do that, but it's easy enough to use. You can just do it like pretty much anything else. And it's reasonably speedy. The other thing that it does is enable you to look at various playlists. If you know that you want to get to something from, let's say, the Blight Review Board, it's all you have to do is go there. Now, this is a relatively slow host that I'm using here, but here, once again, you can see at what is lined up down here now is just all of the Blight Review Boards running into the past, and you can pick any one of those that you want to see. I also separated out all of the RTM committees onto separate tabs. So if what you're interested in is RTM education, You just go to RTM Education, and once again, you see the most recent here, and then going backwards in time. And Community Matters, also somebody might be looking for that. Here, I clicked that more. You can get this, I'm sorry, you can get to the individual ones. This COVID-19 series and safe boating tips are both in here, and I don't really think this in between screen is necessary. You can, if you really urgently need it, go directly to Vimeo from here and see what's on Vimeo. I do not believe Vimeo is anywhere near as easy to navigate, however. So
No, but I like
Great.
having the Vimeo up there because they're just people that say, I want Vimeo, and it's
Right.
there as a security blanket.
right, and the Jim has suggested some other pages be there and about us, and I can't remember. Jim, you suggested a list to me, but
Yeah, and about us, way of contacting us, opting into the program guide, the FAQ that we post, our operating guidelines, the same kind of information that, as Cecil said, is buried deep down into the Darien Town website on our page.
But also the program schedule would be a tab of
right.
its own that needs to be added.
The program
Right.
schedule and the live feed would need to be scheduled, added as well.
Yep.
It's one of the things that's fairly nice also is that you can link out to the agendas if
Right.
there are any. Well, this actually leaks out to the League of Women Voters, but
But that was one of the but that was one of the aspects that we talked about, that you can watch the video and see the agenda.
right. It will. It would be a little
The video
easier
would still be playing.
if
You'd at least hear it in the background.
Yeah, you'd
What?
hear it in the background.
I mean, that's easy to do. You can, because what it does is open the agenda in a completely separate window.
We've
So-
only been successful with planning and zoning and board of finance in doing timestamps, but in other towns where they have been more successful, it certainly makes it a lot easier. If someone wants to keep it, to be able to go to the right where you want to in the video, but that requires an assignment.
Yeah, that would be a leg up. The one thing I want to say about what's here and what I've been fiddling with is this is extremely low maintenance. If something gets added to Vimeo, it automatically shows up here, and it automatically shows it up here almost immediately. So there's no need.
I love it.
To be copying things over and creating new pages. None of that stuff. This just reaches into Vimeo and says, let's see how Vimeo is organized. I'm going to use that.
Cecil, let me ask a question.
Okay.
If we're playing a Vimeo off of the Darien TV79 page, is the speed of the Vimeo slowed down by the speed of the page itself, our page?
Well, what you're actually looking at is the Vimeo page embedded in the TV79 page. So the content that's actually playing is being played by Vimeo, just as if you were on Vimeo. The only thing is that there's essentially a TV79 frame around it, and a way to select other stuff.
Okay.
So to me,
so if we had a
the
very
answer,
busy,
to me the answer is no, right? It's not affected.
No,
So
it's not. It
good.
doesn't slow it up. You can also do full screen, just like you do on Vimeo. So, this is a proposal for and I think a fair amount of functionality for what a TV79 website might look like. I don't want to make too much more of it.
Cecil and Sean, how hard is it to add the live feed to it, similar to the way? Well, I guess that the Darien Athletic Foundation just does it on their YouTube, where they have their live games, but you also have the on-demand in the same on the same site?
That's actually a harder question to answer. But I don't know how DAF does it. I know that the YouTube requirements to actually embed your live stream in another website are very, very onerous.
Yeah, you have to have 1,000
You have
subscribers.
to have 1,000 subscribers. You have to sign up for their advertising program to put ads on it. You know, and you pretty much, it's not like you can just embed it, because the way it works right now is, I think we do 8 hours of video onto streaming onto YouTube, and then that's clipped off and maintained thereafter as video on demand. Every time that gets clipped off, the streaming video gets a new name, which is why it's quite difficult to put it on without YouTube's permission to put it embedded on some other screen, because you would have to be constantly changing the names. There are other programs, including Castus itself, provides the ability to live stream. That would be an additional cost on the yearly operations. I don't remember what the yearly cost is. I just don't remember it. My recollection was something on the order of $100 a month, but maybe a little less.
Sean, do you have any thoughts about the live part? Hold on, let me a minute. I see Dave Deaver has joined us. And Dave, are you also called in on the phone too? Because I see a caller 2 is on too. So you're okay. You're on the phone, and okay, that is you. Okay, good. I got you. Sean, about the live feed, any thoughts?
Well, if we go the Castus route, I imagine, you know, they can provide an embed link for the live feed.
Yeah, they do.
I think the tricky part is making sure that we have the networking in place to allow our Castus server to stream out. And is that in place yet, or?
Oh, go ahead, Cecil.
That is a saga of unbelievable frustration, and I added to that today, having got the IP information and the gateway information. Finally, I hurried my butt down to town hall with my laptop in hand and plugged the laptop into that wall plug, and there was absolutely no network there. I don't know if the cable modem has gone down, or somebody unplugged it. Who knows? It's a great frustration, and I think ongoing, having that cable modem living down in that room that nobody can get to is not a good idea. There are times, and also not being the actual owners of the IP address from Cablevision, because we can't call them up and say, hey, there's nothing coming out of that modem. What's up? Is it on?
So just in the way of background to this saga of pain, to make Castus really perform at its full functionality, we needed to have a static IP address for the server itself. And the Board of Education's IT department, which runs IT for the town, was reluctant to give us that on the darien.ct.gov domain. However, with little encouragement and the help from the first selectwoman, they did get us a dedicated Cablevision Optimum internet account, which will supposedly provide that functionality. A modem was installed in the IT closet in town hall, and we spent just over $2,000 to pull Cat6 Ethernet and coax from that room up to the TV79 booth. And Cecil and I and the town IT department have been working ever since to try and make it work. We're still working on that, I guess, right? So
we just need, what we really need, I think, is to have somebody from the IT department and somebody from Optimum walk into one of them walk into the the IT. It's not really a closet; it's a pretty big room. One of them should be there, as if the modem is still down there, and the other should be in the control room, and they should just say, okay, yes, you can reach the internet from here now. Because as it stands now, we're paying, or somebody's paying for that cable modem. We've paid a couple of $1,000s to get those wires run, and it's that was done what, 4 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And we've just been wheel spinning ever since then, because when I plug into the wall, there's either a network there or there's not. And if there's not, there's nothing I can do about it from the control room.
So, but going back to the website, because we'll get that other one solved. Carrie, Dennis, Robert, Dave, any thoughts on the website?
That's fine.
No, I don't.
Carrie?
I think it's pretty impressive what you guys have done so far. It looks like it's really easy and quick to find programming, so hats off.
Robert?
It's great. I like the way it automatically picks up the videos as you put them on Vimeo. That's great.
Dennis?
I think what Jim said about adding some of the additional documentation about values and stuff like that really makes it a nice home for the multimedia, which right now with kind of some of the other portals hasn't really felt like that. So I really like it too.
Sean, do you have any thoughts other than I don't think it's a problem. There's no requirement of where we can host it, so I don't think that's a problem. But we can talk offline about, is this a contribution of services, and do we have to get approval from the Board of Selectmen? But we can talk offline about that. But I just want to get a sense of the group to see if Cecil and Jim and Sean and I moved ahead to work on its development, to hopefully get it up by the end of the year. Does that sound all right to everyone?
Here.
I don't hear any negatives. Of course, three of you have your mics.
It sounds great.
So yeah, so we'll move ahead and keep you informed. And Cecil, thank you for joining us. And
Not a problem.
Sean, and I'll give you a ring tomorrow. We'll talk about the strategy of how to get optimum there.
I bid you good night.
Thank you.
Bonsoir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Linda. Okay, so we'll move ahead and work on that, and then we've got to figure out from a budgetary standpoint where how we pay for it. The GoToMeetings has reduced the amount of videographer money going out, so there might be some savings there in that fund that we'd have to get approval to transfer over, but we just have to sit down from a budget standpoint and figure out how we pay for it. So now let's going back to the agenda. Item 3, Castus installation update. Jim, as I said to all of you in a note, I guess setting the date for this meeting, this was a lot of work, and I'm glad that Jim attached the tutorial that he did for the videographers, but this has been a lot of work for Jim to set up just the workflow and training all the videographers, getting used to the new equipment. So it's like changing 12 years of habits, and now you have to do things entirely different, which ain't easy. So thank you, Jim. And
You're welcome.
Tell us what we should know about the Castus, and I hope someday we'll be able to tour the booth.
I'm almost tempted to ask you to give me a share screen so I could show you what the internal workings look like.
Sure.
While you're working on that, it's really doing well. The training and the support from the sales folks.
You're now a presenter.
Okay, let me see if I can open up something here. Screen broadcast. Are you seeing my home screen on my iPad there?
No, nope.
Okay. Oh, this is always a problem. Come on. Oh, this is right. I can't do this on the.
Your picture went black too. Can't
I
even see
know.
you now.
Well, bail out of that, puppy. Let's just go back to my shining visage. Go to meeting. You can unshare me there if that'll work.
Okay.
Oh, let me see. Start broadcast. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Oh, there you go. Got it.
Okay.
Would you like to?
Let's see if
There
I
you go.
can make that happen again. Okay. I'm trying to get up to the home screen of the Castus. Can you see something busy on the
Yes.
screen now? The
Yep.
Castus home screen?
That's the Castus
Okay.
home screen.
Great. So a lot of advantages to the Castus, some of which Mike already mentioned. In the old days, we used to run 6 DVDs of meetings over and over again on the same rotation, AM and PM, 6-7 days a week, which was predictable but downright boring. And I think that's how we drove a lot of people to Vimeo to look for individual meetings. The beauty of this system is, from home, I can create a new program rotation anytime I want to. So right now we're looking at, let's look at Wednesday. We're looking at Wednesday's schedule, which I have already laid out for much of the day or the overnight period into the morning. And it's basically, drag and drop, click and stick from all the program offerings on the right-hand side, meeting shoots, evergreen programs. So I've got a whole slew of programs from the Darien Library's archives, all of these interesting talks that they've done from the Darien Men's Association, from our own Community Matters and Inside Town Hall series. And I can come up with a fresh rotation anytime I want to which I also add, as you'll see over here, introductory slides. We have a dynamic coming up next slide, which will pull from the program schedule and say, here are the next 5 events that are coming up, the next 5 shows that are coming up on air. I'm running PSAs, I'm running promos, I've got, all kinds of COVID PSAs from the CDC, from local health authorities, PSAs from local community groups. We're running stuff for the Darien Foundation, thanking them for their contributions, videos that they've produced. I mean, it's like a real TV station now, believe it or not. And it's, adaptable and changeable as we want to go along. When we want to record a meeting, it's as simple as going over here, and I can do this from home. I actually often set this up for the staff before they walk in, so all they have to do is to push 2 buttons. If we wanted to go live now out of room 206, I could do that here. Right now, we're basically looking
the planning
at
and zoning agenda is much more exciting tonight than ours.
Yeah, well, it is, or the Board of Education as well too. We've actually experimented with carrying some Zoom or GoToMeeting meetings live on the air, and it is possible. It's going to be much better and less kludgy looking when we get that static IP address put in from Town Hall. Let's unshare me here and just go back to looking at me, because I don't want to show you too much here. I don't want to do that. You just go back to GoToMeeting for the moment.
Well, you have to do that.
Unshare my screen.
I didn't share it in the
just
first
take
place.
it back to me. Oh, there we are.
Yeah, you have to do that.
Oh, somehow I got there. Oh, here I am. I'm back.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so long story short, the programming is much more robust. I'm getting programming from New Canaan TV79, which has some very nice generic shows. The Western Historical Society, Norwalk Symphony Orchestra. I mean, all kinds of interesting stuff. So my philosophy is, if you want to look at a particular meeting and start and stop it, you're going to go to Vimeo. You'll be able to get it on demand. You'll be able to watch it at the speed you want. But what I'm trying to create is a stream of programming, ever changing, so that it's going to attract people to say, gee, there's nothing else on TV. Let's see what's on channel 79. And you're never quite going to be sure what it's going to be. But that program guide will tell you as you're going along, okay, here's what's coming up. Here are the next 5 shows that are coming up and when they're going to air. If you wanted to, make note of a particular meeting as well, too. I've put in some promo slides and said, what do you think about the new TV79? Share your thoughts. And I've got exactly 0 responses from people. So I'm a little disappointed in that regard, but that's okay. I'm just happy that everything seems to be working nicely. And as Mike mentioned, because we're getting so many meetings like this one that are being done on GoToMeeting, and most of the chairs of these groups, boards, commissions, etc., now know how to do this themselves. There's no babysitting involved. There's no camera operators involved. They do the meeting. They send me a link. I can download it into the Castus. I can get it up on Vimeo in a matter of minutes, and we're not paying camera operators, which is saving us on the budget. I am a little concerned about our camera operators, though, because I've built up a nice staff in expectations of some future return to normalcy. And a lot of them are students who have tuition they're paying, and work at home moms who are looking for a little pin money to put some chicken on the table from time to time. So I'm trying to give them as much work and spread it out as much as I can. But as I shared in the report to the Board of Selectmen that I forwarded to you earlier today, our camera operator fund spend is down 18% so far year to date. That's just in the first 3 months. There's no sign that it's going to be picking up anytime soon. So that may give us some of the budget that we were talking about earlier to help pay for the website.
We did talk briefly
ahead,
about
Mike.
whether or not to meet in person, but room 119 was where we were supposed to meet, and that's where they're doing the flu shots. So it would have.
A 2-for-1.
Pardon?
A 2-for-1. Come on.
Yeah, we could have gotten the flu shot at the same time.
Is there anything else the camera operators could be doing to help you out? I mean, you have a large load there. Could they be looking through some of this programming, or, I mean, if you're
doing social media outreach.
Social media, right? Yeah.
I've thought about that. I have actually got some of them some hours to go through training. So, for example, God forbid anything happens to me at this point, because I seem to be the only person that knows how to run the Castus. So I have specifically trained Cecil, who is, our tech whiz, and one of our younger camera operators who's a sophomore in high school, very savvy. He's going to be with us for 3 years. I've trained both of them on how to program a program rotation. So if I decide to take off for the Côte d'Azur or something, they'll be able to pick up on that. I think I'm going to train, give some more of them a little more training as well too. As Mike hinted, they've been going through, some of them have worked with us for 10 years, and it was cumbersome, but kind of rote after a while how to do a shoot. All the buttons you had to push, all the things you need to do in what sequence. Now it's just a matter of 2 mouse clicks. You're on the air and you're recording. So that's super easy. That's made it much easier for them. And, it's easier for me in terms of, I probably haven't been in the booth in 2 weeks. I don't need to go to the booth. I can do everything remotely.
That was one of the goals of doing the change.
So that's the kind of update on Castus. It's singing along nicely right now. It's given us no problems, no burps. The service and the support from the Castus team has been extraordinary, including their head of networking, who's been talking in some foreign language that I don't understand with Cecil, with all kinds of tech jargon to help get us plugged in properly onto the static IP address.
So once, on items, we really have jumped down to item 7 now of the discussion of viewer outreach. Once we get a handle on what the website's going to cost and a handle on the budget, we can see if there's any money available, and that might be the next step of getting one of the videographers to do our social media outreach to try to increase engagement, because that does take time.
Yeah, I do the Twitter feed. Mike and I take care of uploading shows to Facebook. Mike and I are both from time to time dipped into our own pocket to boost particular programs on the Facebook page to increase viewership. I mean, we're doing everything we can, I think, in terms of producing really good quality product right now. It's just a matter of making sure that people out there in the greater Darien community know that it's out there. The program guide is now up to 980 opt-in email addresses. We've got about a 35% open rate. People are clicking on the agendas, they're clicking on the Vimeos. So we have a loyal following in that regard. I don't know who's watching the channel. As I say, I've had zero feedback from people. Might be time, maybe after the election, to do another viewer survey and find out what they're watching, how they're watching it, what they like, what they don't like. It's been a few years since we've done a Survey Monkey.
What do you think? What do you all think of adding the functionality that people could opt in for alerts to specific commissions or committees that they want to follow on a regular basis?
I like that.
I like it. Sure.
Yeah, I like that.
Greenwich has started using this company that I found. Sean, you sent me an alternative. I think that they were alternative.
Well, yeah, what I sent you, I mean, if you're going to go text, which I think a lot of, in terms of driving engagement, I think a lot of people find people are much more engaged with text than emails or whatever. But
yeah, this offers this. I said I wasn't interested in robocalling, but that text and email would be two of the options.
Right. So yeah. So I think you found a pretty mature software offering. What I sent you was Twilio, which is it's the type of platform that you could build something, a notification engine off of, but it would take we'd have to incorporate our logic versus using the logic of the company that you are. But it could be a buy versus semi build thing. But Twilio is a platform that provides all the plumbing for texting and things like that.
These guys, I gave these guys that Jim had 1,000 people signed up. And he said we could be set up with, as long as we gave them the list, it could be set up and ready to go within an hour. With the initial mailing from Jim for your mail chip, they select it and it's all. I mean, they literally said we could be up in an hour.
So do they charge by the number of people opted in, or the total population, or?
Yeah, they charge by the number of people that you're serving. So right now, the price they've given me is on 1,000 people. If it got up to 10,000 people, it would be more expensive, not quantitative, not a direct proportion, but it would be more expensive. It's essentially, I think this is something the town should do. To notify. It's really everybody, all these other Newington, Greenwich. It's the town that's doing it, not their public access television. But I think just people react from alerts more than they do from saying, "Oh, I think I'll check the website and see if there's the board's meeting." If they know they're going to get an alert. So
the website is notoriously unreliable, and I take I'm being sensitive to the fact that the town clerk is Oh, there's something going on with absentee ballots, and I guess
Yeah.
there's an election or something.
Yeah.
She's a little busy right now,
Yeah.
but the town website, the web calendar, I look at every Friday when I'm determining what are we going to cover in the week ahead. And there are all kinds of meetings that are on that website that are never held. And there are all kinds of meetings that are held but are never on that website. And agendas, which are supposed to be posted at least 24 hours in advance, are rarely there. And you'll notice on the program guide when I send it out, if there's no agenda, I put on the program guide, no agenda posted.
Yeah, like ours was sent in last week and never made it up. I didn't check since noon, but it hadn't
Well,
made
and the
it up,
town
but-
offices are closed on Fridays now, so
Right.
they're working a 4-day week. And if you're having a meeting on Monday, that means you got to get an agenda in their hands by Thursday. Otherwise, you're not having a legal meeting if you're
Yeah.
holding a meeting and there's no agenda been posted.
Yeah, so
Ours is up. Ours is up today. I saw. That's good.
it was up at, because I had to resend it this morning when I went to, because I wanted to send it to Cecil. But anyway, that's where they draw the meetings from. They can pull off that calendar. That's where they get. But we'll discuss that. The only piece of new business I had is this is reappointment time. And so if you would like to be reappointed for 2021, send me an email so I can send it to Linda a couple of days after Election Day. And so they have it on file if you would like to serve again next year, which I hope you all want to do. But it's that time. It's just being, the email is delayed because people are just focused on election results. Geez, Jim, I wish we could talk you into doing election night coverage.
Well, I'll tell you what we are doing, just as a little bit of a preview. I've spoken with the town registrars, and I've spoken with the gentleman who's going to be responsible for the absentee ballot counting. And that's going to happen in the auditorium starting at 8 o'clock in the morning on Election Day. They are expecting that of the town's population of 20,000, there will be 15,000 potential ballots cast, 9,000 of which are going to be absentee. So there's going to be far more ballots counted as absentee ballots than cast in person in the polling places. But what we're arranging to do is to come down early on Election Day morning with a camera operator and do an interview and have a video turned around in a matter of hours on our air, on our Vimeo, explaining how the absentee ballots are being counted. It's going to be a process that's going to be open to the public. If you want to be a poll watcher, there'll be a designated area that you can stand around in. But we're not doing election returns per se, but I think it'll be nice to be able to show people same day, if you cast an absentee ballot, here's how it's being counted.
Well, so this is, since you have the CASTA system now and you can build things, just in theory, once they have the results, how hard would it be for them to feed it to you and you just, the Darien TV79 just becomes that night, election results?
I can do that. I can do that manually if I need to.
Well, just like for instance, if you're on the RTM and you have a contested seat, you really have to go down to town hall the next day or wait for the paper to come out to find out if you were elected or not. I think there'd be a lot of interest in what when they have the final vote totals in.
Well, the question is whether they're going to release partials, because they're allowed 3 days for postmarked absentee ballots to still be counted. And I don't know yet if they're going to release any results night of the election, partial results, and then update them, or they're going to wait. So whenever they release something, I can get it and put it up on our air.
I mean, we literally would be the only source.
No. I think the newspaper in town will turn that around quickly as well too.
Well, in years past for the down ballot elections, they have not.
Yeah.
For
Although,
the down.
I think it's going to be on the town website as well too, and people, will know how to look for that. But I'm happy to put it up when we get some numbers that we think are unchanging for a little bit at least.
Yeah. Well,
can I also do a quick update on the Board of Education? Because we talk about them a lot here. You'll notice from the quarterly report that I sent you, viewership, the report to the Board of Selectmen, that the top rated shows in the last quarter were Board of Education meetings. No surprise there. Those were, very important meetings to a lot of people in town who have kids and are, worried about what the Board of Education is going to do. The Board of Education had some serious teething pains using Zoom to try and live cast their meetings from their meeting room. I will give them full credit for having fixed that so that now, for example, this evening, the Board of Education is having a meeting. It's underway right now. They are live streaming that on YouTube and archiving these meetings themselves on their YouTube channel. And it's a combination of the live cameras they have in their meeting room at the Board of Education headquarters to capture the members of the Board of Ed who were sitting around the table, socially distanced and well masked, and bringing in public comments and other people on the outside from Zoom. They held a special meeting a couple weeks ago. You'll find it on our Vimeo channel that ran 4 hours and 21 minutes. It was a very contentious meeting. On their YouTube channel, that particular meeting in about 24 hours had 2,000 views. So I think they deserve credit for getting their meetings more accessible. If we can still air them live, we should try doing that. They're still not using Channel 78 to carry their own meetings live. In the Board of Education candidates night, the League of Women Voters event last week, there was a question about communication and transparency. And a couple of the candidates mentioned TV79. So they didn't mention Channel 78. They mentioned Channel 79. So I'm grateful for that.
It was interesting that the candidates for Board of Education, their perception is the meetings are on Vimeo on TV79 and not their own channel.
Yeah. Well, they are, but because I grabbed them and put them up there.
Yeah, the top of mind.
I want to have them there as well as whatever, even if they're redundant to what the Board of Ed is doing with their own YouTube channel. I'd like to have, and that's the beauty of this website, again, just to finish the circle of what we started off with. One-stop shopping. You go to one place, you can watch us live wherever you are in the world. You can watch every Vimeo meeting. You can click on the agenda. You can read about Channel 79 and how we operate, how the advisory board works, etc. When Dave and I started this thing 14 years ago, I would never have dreamt we would be doing what we're doing today. We were doing one meeting a week. And that was Mr. Deaver's vision. He was doing it long before I got involved as well, too. So, thanks to all of you on the advisory board for your support. Thanks to Mike for his leadership and pushing the envelope and getting us on new platforms. We've really come a long way.
Transparency, as we've all seen in government, is it's always been important, but it seems it's reached a new level. And it's made the Darien Times better because they have access to the meetings when their reporter can watch it, and they're nice, and they give us credit. And
they link to us. They link to our own videos when they're talking about a particular meeting. They link to it, and then I take their tweet talking about their own story coverage, and I'll say, "Want to watch the full meeting? Here's the Vimeo link."
But they couldn't do that if we didn't exist, because that doesn't exist with a reporter who's in another town, you know, who wouldn't be able to go to
Yeah.
all the meetings that the reporter's able to do.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll be following up on working on the website. Anything else that anyone wants to bring up? Then do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Jim, who seconded? Robert, did you second?
That was Dave, I think. Yeah.
That was Dave. Well, thank you all, and send me your an email if you so I can get to Linda after Election Day if you'd like to be reappointed, and it'll be an exciting night, November 3rd, and maybe the week after. See you later. Stay safe, everybody.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Guys.